and welcome on Accesso Riservato. I'm Francesco Bommartini. Here we are with MICHEAL CESSARIO, CEO of Liquid Death, the water in can. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thanks. I call you from the north of Italy, from Verona. You are in Los Angeles now.
That's right.
Okay. Is Cesario an Italian surname?
Yes, it is.
From where?
My grandfather's family was from Calabria, and my grandmother was Sicilian.
Oh, wow, nice. South of Italy.
Yes.
Where there is always the sun.
Yeah.
Enough. The first real question is, why the name Liquid Death?
Well, the name is supposed to be funny. I think I had a background in marketing for a long time, and you kind of look at all of the energy drinks and things that are traditionally marketed to kind of youth culture. And, you know, there's Monster Energy and there's Red Bull and there's Rockstar and Amped and Pitbull, like all these crazy names. But at the end of the day, all that stuff is mostly water and, you know, a little bit of sugar and a little bit of caffeine. You know, that's the same ingredients as my grandmother's breakfast tea, but they still put this crazy wrapper around it like it's this crazy badass stuff. So we thought it would be funny to kind of do the same thing with water, but to take it even a step further. So you kind of realize we're not taking ourselves that seriously, and we're almost making fun of the extreme marketing of energy drinks and all that kind of stuff. And then in terms of why is it called Liquid Death? Because we were like, well, it's funny to think that nothing's better than an ice cold can of water to murder your thirst. And then the secondary thing that the name plays off of is death to plastic. We have sustainability as a big part of our mission, where we want to get rid of plastic bottles, and aluminum cans are infinitely recyclable. So that's kind of the idea.
Okay, perfect. But in Italy, it's really strange to know that exists water in can. Is it a concept nearest to death to plastic and the donation of 5 cents to fight plastic, or with the unnecessity?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Because you speak about the problem of plastic, and so the claim death to plastic and the hashtag death to plastic. But a thing that really hits me off the website is in the section about us, where you speak about the unnecessity of this kind of way, you know, because it's more funny, more hilarious, etc. And I want to understand what you mean exactly.
Sure. So I think when you think about things that are necessary, I think there becomes a very literal thing, especially in marketing or branding, where you think very literally about this thing is this, so it should be this. You know, don't do anything more than this. This is all it needs to be. But in many other things outside of marketing and branding, people don't think that way. Like if you think about the most fun that you've ever had, or the most memorable moments that you've ever had, for most people, that's probably doing something that was completely unnecessary. Like it's not necessary to jump off a 50-foot cliff into the ocean and have a great time. It's not necessary to, you know, ride on the back of a motorcycle through a windy mountain road that is very dangerous. That's not necessary. And then you start thinking about the things that are necessary. It's like, you know, going to the dentist, you know, breathing, you know, like all these things that seem necessary. And I think that's just kind of an ethos we have as a brand, is sometimes when people look at what you're doing is like, wow, like you're really going far with that, you know, further than you have to go. And it's like, yeah, we are, because that's where the fun is. You know, that's where the magic is, when you can push stuff beyond what is expected. And I think that's what we mean by it.
Yes. So unnecessity means also magic things in this case.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of water did you drink before the Liquid Death arrival?
I drank a lot of different kinds of water, you know, bottled water. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to create Liquid Death is, even though I grew up playing in punk rock and heavy metal bands, when I was younger, I was still very much into health. I didn't drink soda. I ate vegetarian a lot of the time. I'm not a vegetarian anymore, but I eat vegetarian most of the time. And I think health is something that has not been branded or marketed in a fun way for youth culture yet. All the unhealthy stuff like energy drinks and beer and soda is marketed as really fun and hilarious, but healthy things are not marketed that way to youth culture. So I think for me, it was more about, taking something that I drank all the time, which was water, and something that most people don't drink enough of, which is water, at least in the US. And how do you brand water in a way where now all of a sudden it's more fun to walk around with a water in more places? Because as it is now, people think about bottled water as a very utilitarian thing. Like, okay, I'm going to drink this at my cubicle at work because I'm supposed to hydrate, or I'm going to have this at the gym. But you don't talk to someone and say, hey, what do you like to drink when you go out to the bar? Someone doesn't usually say, oh, I usually get a bottle of water. So I think that's what we're trying to do, is like make it so drinking water in more different occasions, especially what we call party occasions. So when people are at a party, or you're at a concert, or you're at a bar, whether maybe you just don't want to drink alcohol, you feel a little bit cooler or more comfortable walking around with a can of Liquid Death drinking a water, or if you've had 3 drinks and you want to take a break from drinking for a little bit, you can walk around with a water, and it kind of just feels not weird.
Yeah. So in that way, in this way of marketing, you try to make water cooler.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, cool is a very broad word. I think it's just there's psychological things that go on that people don't think about. Like most people, and we hear this all the time, it's when you're holding a freezing cold can, your brain is almost telling you that this is supposed to be something bad. Like, oh, this is going to be beer, or this is going to be soda. So at first, sometimes people are almost weirded out drinking water from a can because they're expecting it to be beer, or they're expecting it to be soda. So it's almost like we're helping people trick their minds that they're doing something bad, even though it's something that's really healthy.
Okay. Murder Your Thirst is the first claim of the marketing campaign on the website. You can read on the top. Can you explain the roots of the entire idea behind the marketing campaign?
Sure. There is, at the end of the day, it's called Liquid Death, and, we're trying to, I think with water, a lot of water companies and marketers, again, they think too literally about how they market their products. The reason that people drink water has nothing to do with, well, this water has 0.5 more electrolytes than the water next to it, or this water's pH is 7.4, but this one's is 7.7. Like, people drink water as water to a lot of people. And yes, at the end of the day, it's all brand and packaging of why people pick certain brands and the storytelling behind it. So for us, we made our main message, murder your thirst, because that's the main reason that you drink water, is because you're thirsty. And we didn't want to, and when all these other water brands are talking about little tiny differences in the actual water itself that we don't think anyone really cares about, we wanted to keep it very simple. And it's like, hey, water, murder your thirst. And we thought that would be refreshing, no pun intended, to people when they're looking at these different water brands. When all these other brands are yelling at them about 0.5 electrolytes, pH, alkaline, all these things that people don't understand, and then one brand saying, hey, murder your thirst. I think it's a cleaner way to kind of push what our message is. And then, of course, the idea of getting rid of your thirst, but tying it to the brand name Liquid Death, that's kind of how we came up with Murder Your Thirst.
Okay. Liquid Death's Greatest Hits is the name of the death metal album and of the 12 inches vinyl. Who selected the involved musicians, and why did you decide to do that?
Yeah, so Liquid Death, it's a polarizing brand. So we have people that absolutely love our brand so much that they're actually getting our brand tattooed on their bodies. I think we have over 30 people so far have posted on social media with like Liquid Death tattoos.
Yeah.
But when you have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have people that love something so much, it means that you're also going to have people who hate it. Like, it's not possible to have everybody in the world love your product that much. You either get people who love it insanely much, and then also people who hate it, or you have everybody that just doesn't really love it, but they don't really hate it. You're just kind of, you don't really mean anything to anyone. Those are kind of the two options.
Okay. And no, sorry.
Oh yeah. So we just get, we get our fair share of, people who leave us kind of negative comments on social media saying, dumbest name ever for water. You guys are going to go out of business in 3 months. Like just everybody with an opinion on the internet who's just bored and just wants to talk about something. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, you were scrolling through your feed and you saw our ad and you took the time to go in and comment on an ad. Like, how many people actually comment on ads? It's like 0.01%. So clearly we got your attention. But we thought it would be fun. Okay, we've got all these people who don't like us. And sometimes from a branding perspective, it's very important to know who you're not for, just as much as it is to know who you're for. So we found that when we started playing around with celebrating the negative comments on social, where we put an image of the can, we take their comment, the negative comment, and have a sarcastic little tagline at the bottom that said, "People love us on the internet." Those posts would perform better than any other social post that we had. It got people really excited. They're just like, seeing that there are people who hate it just energized the people who love it. They're like, "Oh, that's so funny. I'm going to buy more cases. Like, this is great. Like, fuck them." It just galvanizes the people who like it. So then we just had this idea of like, well, what else can we do with these kind of negative reviews that we get? And we just sort of came up with this idea, well, let's make them lyrics to a heavy metal album. And it's like, well, why heavy metal? Well, because heavy metal is really angry music, and these are kind of like angry comments. So we just thought it worked pretty well.
Yeah, it's perfect for me. In fact,
and then actually, the guy who did the cover of the album is Italian guy who lives in Italy.
Oh, okay. Who is?
His name is Solo Marcello.
Solo Marcello. Okay, I don't know him, but he done also some other kind of covers in the past.
Yeah, he's done a lot of covers for some pretty famous metal albums. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. After I will read it about. What's your favorite song of Greatest Hits, if you have one, and what's the hilarious hate speech about Liquid Death that you remember?
Well, the songs are all pretty good. I think I really like Fire Your Marketing Guy. That's pretty good.
Okay. Okay. You have also make a video for a promo video for the album, and I remember that song in the video.
Yeah. Yep.
And the hilarious hate speech for you?
What's the most hilarious comment? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Too much. Too many.
Yeah, there's too many good ones. Yeah, I think for me the funniest ones are either the people who think that they're like the smartest business people in the world, who are like, yeah, I can't wait to see you go out of business next month. And it's like, okay, well, we're one of the fastest growing water brands like in the US. Like, I don't think we're going out of business in a month, but they seem so positive about it. And I think the other ones are obviously the ones that are from, I guess you would say the more sensitive, kind of religious folks who think that like Liquid Death is like the devil. I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. How many people works in Liquid Death?
We've got about 24 people-ish right now.
24, okay. And you were born in 2019. Yeah,
we launched online only in January of 2019.
Okay, perfect. Everybody loves that metal in Liquid Death.
Everyone loves what?
loves death metal.
Death metal.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I'm one of the only people I think in the company that really loves death metal. I think everybody appreciates, I think, metal, and I think that's the thing. People think that, oh well, Liquid Death made a death metal album, so that's only supposed to appeal to people who like death metal, and that's not the case. I think everybody appreciates kind of the humor and fun of metal, and especially when you marry it with a water brand. I think like the example I gave to somebody who asked about, a marketing guy asked me like, well, would you say it's successful because is this death metal album? It's really only for death metal people. And I was like, no, not at all. It's like when Nike runs a commercial with Tiger Woods for the Super Bowl, is that to say that that commercial is completely useless to anyone who doesn't play golf? And it's like, no, everybody, even if you're not involved with that, you can appreciate what it is and get a feeling for the brand. It's like, oh, that's really funny. I like this brand. So when I go to the store next time, I want to give my $1.69 to this company that made me laugh versus this faceless company on either side of it that I don't really care about either way.
Okay. What do you think about social media, also about hate comments?
Yeah, I think the bigger thing that's happening of why people like this Greatest Hates album and concept so much is that I think everybody is tired of essentially being judged on everything in your life right now. Anytime you post a photo of your meal, of a gathering you're having, of a point of view, you're judged by how many likes does it get. People can comment and say, this is stupid, you should take this down. Like everything you do is now, everybody has an opinion on it. They can like it, they can unlike it, they can say they hate it, they can say they love it. Everything you have is being judged. And usually people are quicker to leave a negative comment about something than they are a positive comment. And I think what we're doing is sort of saying that who cares if people hate what you're putting out on the internet? Like, it's okay. Like, it might actually be a good thing that there's certain people that don't like what you're doing. And I think we've heard from people saying, hey, I really love this message that you're putting out there about proudly not for everyone, which is what we've been using with our hate comments. Like, we're kind of saying, hey, we're proud of the fact that not everybody loves us, and that's okay. So I think that's sort of the bigger thing that people are responding to is, you know, a company basically saying, hey, it's okay if there's people who don't like what you're putting on social media, to kind of take some of the pressure off the feeling of like, oh my God, I have to take something down if someone doesn't like it. And, you know, kind of all of that tension, I think, that people feel. Yeah.
Okay. Michael, you're the CEO of Liquid Death Mountain Water, but you have a past as copywriter. What are the strengths of a good copywriter for you? The strengths?
I think
I'm a copywriter too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think it's being able to use language in a way that truly engages people, you know, because I think people forget that the average person is scrolling through an Instagram feed, like that's where they're finding their ads, or they're going through an email and they're scrolling through subject lines, or they're out in the world driving or walking around on their phone and like, how is a billboard going to get your attention, or how is this ad going to get your attention? So I think language is just a powerful way to grab someone's attention and make them stop and maybe actually think about what you're trying to sell them for 2 seconds, because it's way harder to actually stop someone and get them to care than I think most advertising people really think about. Because when you're making your ads and you're in your ad agency and you're hyper analyzing every word and everything like that, it's hard to forget that outside of the agency in the regular world, no one cares about any of the stuff that we make. So it's like the bar for how interesting something has to be to really grab somebody it's up there. And I think that's a good copywriter is able to, with just a few words and a few seconds of someone's attention, be able to like grab them and interest them and pull them in.
Okay, perfect. What kind of influences did you take in Liquid Death from your past experiences?
I took a lot from my experience as a creative director and copywriter in advertising. Just, I've worked on probably 100 different brands, from car companies to frozen pizza companies to Netflix to everything in between. I think you start to learn after doing thousands of ad campaigns, the things that work and the things that don't work. So just from the way I approach Liquid Death, like I've got all that experience that I kind of pull from. And then of course, growing up playing in rock bands, a lot of that and that culture and that art style and that humor kind of comes into Liquid Death. And then again, also from the world of health, like it all kind of comes together, I think, with Liquid Death.
Okay. Did you speak some Italian also?
No, I don't speak hardly any, unfortunately.
And did you come on holiday in Italy ever?
I came a long time ago. When I was maybe 21 or 22. I'll be 38 this year. So it's been a long time. And me and my wife, we're trying to find a time to go to Italy and visit.
Okay. What part of Italy?
She very much wants to go see the south on the coast, like Capri and that kind of area. I'm definitely very interested in seeing some of the north. Like I really like mountains a lot, and I've never been to the northern part of Italy.
Okay, thank you. Now I ask you, there is the in or out. I say you choose things, and you must choose only one. If you want, you can also explain why. Okay. The first one is about two death metal bands. Vomitory or Ultra Vomit?
Sorry, what were the names?
Vomitory is a Swedish death metal band, and Ultra Vomit is a French death metal band. Do you know?
I don't know either of them, but Ultra Vomit is a cooler name, so I'm going to pick that one.
Okay, perfect. Vinyls or CDs?
What's the first one?
Vinyl or CD?
Oh, vinyl.
Vinyl. Why?
I actually collect a lot of vinyl. I just think it's really cool. It's an old technology that still holds up today, and I think it's a fun experience to actually have to put a record on and put the needle on and listen to it and flip the record. And the artwork that you get is really big and cool. So that's why I like it. Yeah.
Cannibal Corpse or Cannabis Corpse?
Cannibal Corpse.
All right. Beer or wine?
Beer.
Okay. Mad Men or the Bing Crosby Show?
I've never seen the Bing Crosby Show. I'll say Mad Men.
Okay. Mad Men is for you as some reality with the true life,
Yeah, it's funny. I've only seen a couple episodes of Mad Men because I was always like, advertising is really long hours. Like I would work 12, 13-hour days. The last thing I want to do is then come home and watch a show about advertising.
Okay. So I don't know if the next question is okay for you. Jim Carrey or Ben Stiller?
Ooh. I think Jim Carrey, I think he has, just growing up, he just has a special place in my heart.
Okay. The last one is a question that is really near to you for your kind of work. House of Cards or Stranger Things?
I think House of Cards.
Okay, perfect. Are some of your tattoos about music?
We have a little one of these guys on there.
or inspired by music?
Yeah, I mean, I think my tattoos are all sort of inspired by different experiences that I've had in life. Like I actually got a Liquid Death kind of tattoo recently.
Oh, amazing!
but yeah, they're all different things. just kind of representing different parts of my life where I was.
Okay. Thank you so much, Michael. It was really a pleasure to have you in Accesso Riservato. I want to make all my compliments for your idea and for liquid debt. And if you want to improve the business in Italy, I'm ready.
Yeah, I would love to. Well, we bottle it in Austria, in outside Salzburg, so it's not too far away where it comes from.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. If you want a CV, I can send you.
Okay. Thank you, Francesco.
I'm joking. It was really a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.